Okay, so we've seen examples of when the degree on the top is less than the degree on the bottom, the horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. And the last one we saw when the degrees are the same, then you ignore the degrees and look at the leading coefficients and divide the leading coefficients to get where the horizontal asymptote is. So I'm sure we can figure out what our fourth type of things. You'll notice what the degrees are in this, but I'll give you a second to put those in the graphing calculator and have a look and see what happens when the degree on the top is now bigger than the degree on the bottom. So hopefully you had a chance to pause, put all that in, and observe what's happening. So I have them all in the graphing calculator here, so we'll see what happens. Where is the horizontal asymptote this time? Well, that one, it was weird. We have one up at the top there, and we have this odd-looking asymptote. So the point being here, in this case, is that the horizontal asymptote just doesn't look like there is any. We saw the first one go right straight through this, and nothing there, and we had our second one up here would almost look like a parabola. It's not, but it looks like that. And then this last one, there's no horizontal asymptote in all of these. So it turns out when the degree on the top is bigger than the degree on the bottom, there is no horizontal asymptote. Now, I'm going to go back to the graphing calculator here, and I'm going to get rid of the first one and hide the second one and just graph the third one. Because even though there is no horizontal asymptote, no horizontal line here, there is this imaginary diagonal asymptote right here. And that's a special type, this diagonal asymptote. And it's for this third example here. And if you notice, the degree on this one is 4, the degree down here is 1, so it's much bigger. This one is much bigger. This one is only bigger by 1. So when the degree on the top is bigger than the degree on the bottom by 1, there is no horizontal asymptote, but there could be this special kind of asymptote, what we call an oblique asymptote. Okay, so I have examples of an oblique asymptote in a moment. Right now, all we have to notice is that there is no horizontal asymptote. So the third part that we're going to add to our list here is if n is greater than m, there is no horizontal asymptote. So those are your three main ones. If it's less than, the asymptote is y equals 0. If it's equal, then you look at the leading coefficients. And if it's bigger, then there is no horizontal asymptote. Now the question is, why is there no horizontal asymptote? Well, again, we'll go back to these examples. So since the degree on the top is bigger than the degree on the bottom, the top is always going to be really, really big. Again, if you put in something like 1,000,000 and you cube it on the top, you're going to get really very big number. And even though you're putting 1,000,000 on the bottom, it's nowhere near, it's only raised to the power of 1. I mean, we've got stuff at the end here, like a -1, but that has little influence. So this is not as big. And what happens when fractions have really, really big numbers on the top and not so big on the bottom? It just keeps going off to infinity. So these get really, really big over not big. So the numbers are big. And so the graph just keeps going up and up and up. It doesn't hit any horizontal asymptote. So in each of these, you see the degree is bigger, so there's a 1. So no horizontal asymptote. Same with this guy. But this last one, we said, hey, it looks like there's a diagonal asymptote. So to prove that, I'm going to show you 3 more examples. And you'll notice each of these have a degree bigger by 1. So there's 3 and 2. So we already know there's no horizontal asymptote. That's the first thing. We already know that, so no horizontal asymptote. But I want you to pause the video and look at these, and you should be able to see more oblique asymptotes. Okay? So we'll pause it and see those. So here are the three functions in there, and let's see if we can see these oblique asymptotes. So again, there's one. This one's coming, and again, we see that oblique asymptote. I think I might have typed something wrong in that for that guy. No, it's fine. Okay, it curls around. So we have this oblique asymptote here. Now, notice there is a line that goes through. So just like a horizontal asymptote, you could have your graph going through the oblique asymptotes, but at the extremes, so when we get down here and when we get down here, you see that the line approaches but never touches. So what that means is if if n is greater than m by 1, then we have this oblique asymptote. Okay, and we'll talk more about oblique asymptotes later on. We can just add it to our list though here. You saw the star. So here's an oblique asymptote. If n is greater than m by 1, there is an oblique asymptote, or a slanted one, a diagonal one. Like I said, we're going to spend a full day just looking at those oblique asymptotes. So these are the three conditions that you check when you're checking for horizontal asymptotes, and you should be able to find those from there.